I'm sure last week many of you must have seen or heard the news about Puri Jagannath's annual Ratha Yatra function being conducted for the first time without public participation. Indeed, a historic first for the event because Puri's Ratha Yatra is the largest of its kind in the world that draws millions of devotees every year. In today's video, we are going to look at 5 unique aspects of the Puri Jagannath temple. The Ratha Yatra is held every year on the second day of the brighter half of the Odiya month of Ashada, the time of the year that coincides with the onset of the monsoons. But many Hindu temples in our country have similar festivals, especially in South India, where every large temple has its own special day for its Ratha or car festival. So what makes Jagannath's festival special? For the answer, we need to know what Ratha Yatras are really about. In theory, the Ratha of a temple is designed along the lines of its Garbhagriha or its Sanctum Sanctorum where the divinity resides. And every year, the divinity residing in the temple's sanctum comes out of the temple in its chariot to offer a darshan to the devotees. But most temples have representational images of the preceding deity in the sanctum, and it is this image called Utsava Murti that is taken out in procession in the Ratha. But in the case of Puri Jagannath, the presiding deities that sit in the Sanctum Sanctorum, namely Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, are themselves moved out of the temple for the Ratha Yatra. So in Puri, it's the gods themselves and not their representational images that reach out to the devotees on the streets. Now, this is understandable in the olden days of untouchability when not everyone was allowed inside the temple premises. And therein lies yet another unique feature of the Puri Jagannath temple. This temple has famously stayed away from practicing the devious tradition of untouchability. The temple has always allowed even Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs, and of course all Hindus, irrespective of their castes, to enter the temple premises. The Jagannath tradition's ideology that everyone is not just equal before God, but merely his servant, is reinforced in the temple ritual when none other than the king of Puri himself takes the role of an ordinary temple sevak and performs the ritual cleaning of the chariots called Chera Pehra before the start and end of the yatra. And the temple's inclusiveness does not end there. Some of the key rituals of the temple are performed by non-Brahmins called Daitas, who claim to be close kins of the chief deity Jagannath. Again, unlike in other temples where the structure of the Ratha is retained for reuse in the subsequent years, in the case of Jagannath Puri, the Rathas are dismantled and discarded, and a fresh Ratha is constructed every year. Yet another curious thing about the temple at Puri is a rather uncommon combination of its presiding deities. Jagannatha, who is believed to be a representation of Krishna, Balabhadra or Balarama, and Subhadra. Although popularly identified as siblings in the Vaishnava tradition, scholars have some different theories about who these deities could be. Balabhadra or Balarama is also known as Sankarshana, who belonged to the popular group of heroes from the Vrishni tribe. Balabhadra, along with Vasudeva, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, were the 4 heroes. Of these 4 heroes, Vasudeva is identified with Krishna or Jagannatha, and Sankarshana is identified with Balarama or Balabhadra. The third smaller idol placed between the two is identified as Subhadra. But here, some scholars have a different view. They claim that the deity may have originally been a tribal deity known as Khambeshwari or Stambeshwari, who belonged to the tribes of the Savaras and Pulindas. These tribes worship the deity in the form of a log of wood. According to the scholars, it is this deity that was absorbed into the Vaishnava fold and with time came to be identified with Subhadra. Indeed, tree worship is an ancient worship tradition and is quite common among tribes who consider trees to be sacred. And Odisha is also home to diverse groups of tribes who have had a significant influence on the state's culture and tradition over the years. Moreover, Odisha has also been the seat of the Shakta tradition that puts Shakti or the feminine force at the center of the universe. Thus, in the temple too, we find Shakti occupying her pride of place on the pedestal in the form of Subhadra. So in a sense, the Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra trio point to the inclusive and accommodative stance of the Jagannath tradition that represents the Vaishnava, tribal and Shakta traditions as well. Yet another unique feature of Puri Jagannath is that the idols of the three deities are made of wood of a neem tree. And it's not very common to have idols made of wood in large temples. Also, the images look very different from the ones elsewhere. These images do not have a regular human form. They have a large head, no neck, but a stub for a body and no legs. The images of Jagannath and Balabhadra have protrusions that look like hands, while Subhadra's image does not have even those. The only prominent feature on the face are the big eyes for all the three deities. Some scholars compare the squarish face of Jagannath to the lion-faced deity Narasimha, whose worship was popular among some kings who ruled Odisha. But the use of wood and the aniconic or formless nature of the images point to a strong tribal origin. Again, there's another theory which says that the idols were made of wood in order to protect them from Islamic invasions. In the event of an invasion, it was easier for the temple priests to flee the temple with wooden movable idols than with large stone idols that would not have been easy to carry. Very often, these idols were buried at secret places in order to prevent them from vandalism by the invaders. But there was one major problem with wooden idols. They would rot away with time. The perishability of wood and wooden idols gave way to a temple ritual called Nabakalebara, which means new body. This is a ritual when the Lord leaves his old body and enters a new one. His devotees believe this to be his rebirth. Just before the Ratha Yatra, a bathing ritual called Snana Yatra takes place. In this ritual, the three deities are bathed with consecrated waters, and after this bathing ceremony, the deities develop fever and go into isolation for 14 days. They recuperate during these 2 weeks before they are ready to offer darshan to their devotees. Anyway, there comes a time in Jagannath's life when he gets too old to recuperate from the excessive bathing. He develops fever and eventually passes on. But just as a Hindu believes the soul never dies but only takes on a new body, Jagannath leaves his old body to take on a new one. And this assumption of new body is celebrated as Nabakalebara. The old body of Jagannath, or the discarded body, is buried in secret in the temple premises at a place called Koili Vaikuntha, and his soul or essence called the Brahmopadat is transferred into the new body made for Jagannath on a dark, moonless night. This ritual is conducted in secrecy, and the priests who transfer the Brahmopadat are believed to do so blindfolded. The death of the Lord is mourned by his kins, the Daitas, who observe all the rituals associated with mourning a new one's death for the next 10 days. This festival of Nabakalebara is conducted every 10 to 20 years, and the last one was celebrated in 2015. The new body for the Lord is made from wood of a special neem tree that is identified to have certain auspicious symbols. The right tree from whose wood the Lord shall be made is identified after a long and difficult search by the Daitas. It is believed that a tantric goddess named Mahamangala appears in the dream of the chief Daita and points him to the right direction and place where he'll find the tree for his wood. The identified tree is then cut and brought home with celebrations, and the Navakolebara, or the new body for the Lord, is made. Adorned in his new body, the Lord then gets ready to offer his devotees darshan and shower them with endless blessings. Thus we find that the story of Jagannath is also the story of man from birth to death to rebirth. It is this very human nature of the deity that attracts millions of Indians every year to the temple. Scholars point out that over the years the Jagannath tradition has evolved, borrowing various aspects of the Jaina and Buddhist faiths, apart from several tribal traditions. They point to all these influences as the reason for the all-inclusive and accommodative faith that the Jagannath tradition is today. The essence of Jagannath is perhaps best captured in the story of the Navagunjara from an Odia version of the Mahabharata composed by Sarala Das. The story goes that once when Arjuna the Pandava was doing penance in the forest, a strange animal comprising body parts of 9 different animals appeared before him. The animal had the head of a rooster, feet of an elephant, tiger, horse, and a raised human arm carrying a lotus or a chakra, the neck of a peacock, the hump of a bull, the waist of a lion, and the tail of a snake. Arjuna was initially alarmed seeing the spectacular beast, but later realized that it was none other than Lord Krishna and his all-encompassing divinity. And it is the representation of this Navagunjara that's been depicted 9 times on the Neela Chakra that stands tall on the spire of the temple of Jagannath of Puri.
बाध्य होई तुम ठारे रखिछि